Okay, being it is 5:15, I'd like to call the April Park and Rec Committee meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make the motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Bernie,
Second was Haas.
John Hess. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And now I look for approval of the February 3rd, 26 meeting minutes.
Move to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tim, we're waiting for you. Can you?
Aye.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Any public comment? Motion, just want to vote on motion. Oh, yeah, we voted on it already, didn't we? Yeah.
Mhm.
Any public comment? Public comment? No public comment? Okay, Ginger, consider approval submitting a request for DNR to swap the stewardship land.
Okay, sure. So the city has received a request to swap a portion of property that is, adjacent to some potential development area, just private land, that would be honestly beneficial to both parties. This is stewardship property, which means the definition of that is that we applied for a grant to purchase this through the DNR back in 1990, in the early 90s. And the city was gonna do a lot of different things out there, looking through the history of it. And nothing really came to fruition with it, partially because of just no utilities, no real good access to it. And it just sat out there kind of, forgotten kind of, but we always know it's there because it's 95 acres of land. But it will be very useful to us for a parkland in the north side of the city. So with that being said, it is held to some different terms of the grant agreement. Any sale, division, or planning outside of the guidelines of that grant agreement will need to be approved by the DNR. So that's kind of our first step here, is just kind of giving me a head nod to go ahead and or vote, or a head nod.
Well, it would be definitely a vote. So
Okay, a vote to submit this application for the property change. So Chad's brought up some maps. He's been working with the individuals that requested it. So if you want to go ahead and go further.
So like Ginger was talking about, the city has 95 acres and that's in the green. The two red areas, the two red parcels are privately owned. You can see collectively, we've got it in the bottom that it's about 22.4 acres. And the whole purpose of this conversation is to figure out how it can be developed specifically into some residential property development. And the challenge with that is the city's subdivision code has a provision that a cul-de-sac cannot be over 600 linear feet. And that's pretty standard for a lot of communities. And the purpose of that is you don't want a huge long cul-de-sac and then you have an emergency situation where you only have one entrance in, one entrance out. So in talking about trying to figure out a way how to develop this, the only really way to develop this would be to kind of split the parcels in half with a road, come all the way down, and then have another roadway come through the park to be the second access point. The problem with that is you're cutting off pretty much the middle of a section of parkland here. You'd be cutting off a section of parkland here. You'd really be dividing the park just with roadway. That's really not going to be conducive to park development. And then just it wouldn't be conducive to anything that we want to do in the park. So the concept that was provided to us would be a land swap, like Ginger talked about, and then combining these two acreages into one so that you still have the same amount of acreages, 22.4, about 95 acres. So the acreages would be the same, but this would allow for a better usable piece of development. One of the residential concept that was provided to us, and again, don't get hung up on the amount of parcels, don't get hung up on the size of the parcels. The only reason I'm showing this right now is to just show the concept. If this was a little bit wider in one unit of parcel, you could have an entrance out and in, giving us the two access points into that subdevelopment. This would also allow us to have an access point that would spill into the park, whether it's on the east side like this shows, whether it's on the west side, way future concept to be determined. But this is just to indicate that a concept would be that we could put a U through this type of development through here to make it more developable in the future. So that's the whole point of this conversation. And like Ginger said, to do any type of land swap, since it was purchased through DNR stewardship funds, we have to get the DNR's approval to proceed forward with any type of land swap provision. So again, this is all about trying to figure out a way how to get some residential development on those two parcels, probably into one.
So when you showed that, the diagram of that, of that road that's gonna horseshoe through that,
Mhm.
is that gonna be a public road or a private road?
It would be a public roadway,
It would be, that's okay.
just like all of the subdevelopments. They turn into public roadway.
So then we'd be responsible for,
Correct. For the maintenance, just like we do with any other subdivision. And we would more likely would want it public roadway because we'd want that access getting into the parkland on the south side as well.
but the developer would be paying for that initial roadway, right?
All to be determined in developer agreement in the futures, but conceptually, yes.
Flip back one page for me.
Yeah.
So on the right-hand side there, I noticed how that 22 acres obviously goes wider to the woods. Are we kind of hog tying ourselves for access? I'm not sure exactly where that field ends to the
Got
woods there
another-
for
Yeah,
possible,
here that kind of shows the kind of where the field ends and the wood wetlands kind of starts. And there'd have to be some wetland delineations done to determine exactly where wetlands are in that whole area as well. But you can kind of see with this one with the color out of it. Yes, it does narrow this down, but it widens the southern end of it too. So there's a trade-off.
I just don't want to see us ever get caught in a situation where that is detailed out into a floodplain land and then we can never use that land for nothing else now.
So, yeah, back to that one. Just thinking back to the conversations, the conceptual conversations we had for park and rec development of those areas, we had a lot of concerns about access, how we would be able to do any of the things in there because of access, but this looks like it would open up not just the access from that residential concept, but would it also give us access on the bottom where the red zone was on the left, over on the right-hand side?
There's no public access on the southern end of the lot. It's all private property throughout here. This is private property. This is all private property. This is all
Okay,
private property. The only access point we have to the parcel is on Partridge on the north side.
okay,
Another
Thank you.
reason why combining this, because there's really no, it's landlocked right now.
what am I looking at on the bottom portion there? And now up and to the right there,
The trailer park,
okay, thank you.
Does this have anything to do with the comprehensive plan? Do they have a problem with that? No?
no, that's independent from that.
It's not included in the plan at all, just because it was preconceived before we went through that, or after we went through that process. In the future, then we would include like the development to the park, but the development of the park wasn't, I'm pretty sure that maybe the master plan is in the corp this year. or not this year, but in the current court, but nothing else.
This vote is just to apply for the application, to see whether we can do it or not, and then if it was approved, then there'd be another vote coming back to council.
Correct.
Okay.
This is just saying, hey, we would like to work with the DNR to see if they would accept it.
Sure.
The DNR comes back and says, nope, they're not in favor of this. Then that stops it right there.
Before we start anything, are we gonna get in writing that we'll have access off that? Go to the next one.
Down here,
No, the little map that you showed it.
This one?
Yeah, that.
Mhm.
Are we gonna get in writing that we have access off of one of them 2 points on the bottom?
the city would have to, the plan commission would have to approve the site plan review of it. So unless we have access, granted to us, we probably would not go through a development agreement for, accepting the roadways, accepting the plan. The city would have to be in favor of it in general as well.
Okay.
Anybody have any other questions?
I have one. When Ginger started talking, she said that the city had some plans for that land. Could she kind of expand on that a little bit? Like, what are we going to use the city property, the stewardship land for? Is there any plans?
In the past, there was plans for it, but we haven't, in Chad and I's history, there have been no plans for the development of that acreage. But in the 90s, when they first purchased it, there was talk about just a typical park with shelter area. There was talk of a soccer field, but that was all in the 90s, so nothing currently.
Anybody else have anything else? If guys are here, have you got any questions for them?
Correct.
Well, anybody has any questions, they're right back there.
We also have our zoning administrator here too as well. Any questions that you guys might have for him?
We're just worried about it making that piece of land unusable. I don't see no benefit to giving
Thing
that,
is,
that big
bottom
area.
piece usable.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's kind of, it is a horse piece, which,
If you look at the floodplain aerial of this, that's the space that we would be getting is a nice high dry space that would be a buildable area that we wouldn't have to fill out any kind of special permits for. And a lot of the rest of it, especially to the far west, is pretty much unusable. We'll only be able to be doing like walking trails and, just a nature area, which I think will be great out there too. So, but that space that we would be gaining would be our programmable area, shelter, bathrooms, things like that.
Providing we can get to it.
Right.
well, it won't get through the planning commission without a road coming out of that subdivision. They can sit there and tell, you know what?
Maybe this question's off the wall and somebody just tell me if it's not even an option, but can we just buy that 22.4 acres and then we have it all?
That's the owner of the property.
Oh, I didn't know.
We're not, so, yeah.
I mean, I'm not meaning to offend anybody. In the past, we've talked about purchasing businesses and other things for parks and things like that. So
Anything's on the table, but I think the concept right now has been to work towards some type of residential development in that area. But
all for it. It was just a
No.
question.
for the right price,
Yeah.
I'm not sure the city's got the right price.
Yeah.
No, not for what
and we're always, I mean,
no comment, I guess. I
we've
should
got
say.
some growth opportunities going on. We're seeing residential development. I think this is a great opportunity to continue.
Give it to us, right?
100% agree.
I guess
Alright.
that's the next question that would be coming, that if the DNR did, what type of residential development are they looking to put in that?
Mhm.
Is it, higher end housing, lower end? What are we looking at?
They're here to answer those questions for you.
And some of the initial conversations have been single family, maybe some duplex townhouse scenarios, not multifamily at this point.
Okay,
But way to be determined. And those conversations would continue internally and then obviously go through the plan commission for consideration at that point. But some type of single family and or, 1-2 family, maybe some townhouse scenarios.
Okay. I mean, we're always looking for development, obviously, but also missing middle is a huge issue for us,
Mhm.
finding the right developers to come in and do missing middle.
And if you have specific questions, we have
You wanna speak
people
on it?
here.
You can.
I'd just like to add that a week and a half ago, I had a meeting with a major builder, I should say, from the Valley. And they said, we'll take 10 lots and we'll start 3 houses in May. So that's not gonna happen that fast. It's probably gonna be something else, but there's people willing to come from Watoma. I haven't been down there to talk to him. I've got another one over. Call them up on the phone, they're interested in vacant lots. Bring people out of the Valley up here. They're looking at getting lots up here, $40,000-$50,000 less than they would pay in the Valley. So it's open their eyes. It's not. It's a good opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have anything else? And I look for a motion to approve the submitting the request for the DNR for a swap with the stewardship land.
I'll make that motion to submit request to DNR for swap the stewardship land.
Second.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The opposed?
Well, I,
Okay, motion's been approved. Wolf River Art League, Ginger.
Okay, the Wolf River Art League has come to me with their, well, I guess, second, request for a sculpture that they would like to put on our sculpture trail. The application you see in your packet, the cost would be, the Wolf River Art League would purchase this project or sculpture. And, we would be in agreement to help like place it, and if the concrete pad needs to be placed, we would help them with that. They don't have a location yet, but obviously, we've given them approval to go from Shawnell Street to the bait shop, basically, with the sculpture trail. So anywhere that'll fit nicely there. Is up to them and their committee that they will vote on. So I do want to take a second, and there was a picture of it in your packet. But also then, we have 2 different little clips. This is the boy that built this sculpture. And he did it as a class project. He also has then, Chad, if you want to go to the first clip.
Video?
Yeah. And just show what it actually is, because I hope you're as excited as I am about it. Keep in mind this guy's, what is he, 17? He's 16 years old. And he designed this and made it himself.
You don't need sound to. I like the sound.
Thank you. And then I'm sure there are plenty of questions for you or for him about this, and he has provided that as well. And that will need sound for, yeah.
Pretty cool.
That is cool. I really like that.
that it?
Yeah, so I think for myself, I think this would be a great opportunity. I don't know if you can see, but I don't know where you would find that, but it has went viral, so it's something that we would definitely make a name for us, to have it in this city. It's a great statement piece. They talked about having major pieces and minor pieces, and this would definitely be one of those major pieces, that people would come to. And so I did invite, well, the Art League is obviously here to ask for the permission, for that, but I did, Kelly Polson's here and he can speak on behalf of the Art League about the project as well.
Kelly, if you do talk, why don't you come up so we can catch you on the mic? I know
Yeah, that
in the
was-
back. Start off.
Morning, evening.
Right
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have any questions? I mean, I do what I can to ask or answer. But, yeah, we're just trying to bring in something big as our first piece for that sculpture trail, and this just kind of hit all bases with us. And we went through the league and we all decided we were going to take it on if the city would allow us to put it.
How tall is it?
11 feet. It's 11 feet tall. Those cables that the kid was talking about are gonna be replaced. What he has on them is, it's just cable with cable clamps, but we would take them off and we would put in stainless steel, solid fitted to length. So that wouldn't even, whatever his factor was, we'd have 10 times that much involved in it. So there wouldn't be any chances of it coming down at all.
Where
Right.
along, sorry. Where along the sculpture trail are you looking to place
That
it?
we haven't decided. We want a really nice, we want a good sky background. We don't want the bus garage necessarily behind it, because what it's gonna turn into is probably a line of people trying to take pictures.
Yep.
And we haven't all decided on the same place. We've talked about it. I mean, some people think between the pavilion and the waters, that open area. We want it facing the river, but we also want a good background behind it. We're not really exactly sure. And then they were talking, maybe by our fish sculpture area between there and the waters, but I kind of want it somewhere you can see it from a car, where you can pull up to it a little closer. If it's behind like Edward Jones, you might not be able to see it very well, from the road distance. That's something we'll all have to kind of absorb and decide together. I'd rather have it out in the open by the waters or closer in that area. But we're always looking at what's behind, We were even talking about raising it up 3 or 4 feet. So if there's a ramp going up to it, if you're on the bottom of that ramp and you're taking a picture, all you'd see was sky behind. We want it to be photogenic, but that's not for sure. But it's quite a beautiful piece and interactive too.
Makes me wonder what I'm doing at 16.
The fish sculptures look great over there, I know that.
Mhm.
So what is the ask, what is the agreement part for the city then? So we put a concrete slab down, or does it need to
I'm not
be
sure
in
what
a
we're asking
building,
exactly.
or?
So
I
all
mean-
of the sculptures have to be approved by council, and with that agreement, and this is the standard agreement that we approved when we first planned the sculpture trail. So we have helped place and provide, a concrete pad if needed. But that's about it. Just stating that we're not liable if anything happens to it. If it breaks, we're not gonna fix it. We are the ones that can say this needs to go, or, if it gets into
I was
things like
just curious on what their request is for this one.
that. There's just that they need to be approved through committee, just like the murals. Yeah,
So basically, yes, you can bring this into Newland,
correct,
and we'll figure out where it's going.
correct. Okay.
It's definitely gonna be on that trail somewhere. We're just not exactly sure.
What kind of footage we got left there from like that parking lot, the trail, like by the waters?
Oh, For
That'd
green
be the place.
space,
Yeah,
there's, I don't know the measurements. Not
That'd be
much,
plenty.
yeah.
Oh, there's a
yeah.
lot of,
There's a lot of green
between
space.
the walk and the parking.
Yep.
And I wasn't even sure how close we wanted to that, but. I mean, it would be nice to have it where you could park your car and walk right to it, like right there.
You wanna put it away from the water a little bit, cause don't we have flooding problems a lot?
You're right, and I was even thinking that as well, like, I want,
Closer to the parking lot.
plenty of space there.
So,
and even that raised idea might not hurt that
Yeah,
situation
I
as well.
Make it more photogenic and have flooding problems.
And I definitely don't want any trees near it, because I don't want a big branch coming down on
right.
that butterfly. That'd be heartbreaking.
John, is that what you're kind of
Yeah, that's
envisioning?
what I was kind of.
Visioning there, just
What you want to see?
assuming we're gonna wanna get it away from the water as far as we can.
And this does not depict the updated parking.
No.
lot. This is the old.
Gonna say, that doesn't look great, so.
It's an old, it's a,
We can get our money's worth.
it is a.
That would give us.
Did you do the,
20,
oh, that
25.
is the 25.
Can you scoot down to the, farther to the east on that, or is that zoomable?
Yep.
Because I know Lori had talked maybe around the Edward Jones area, which would be right in that area, which.
That's all their property.
Yeah, but you won't really
that is
see
their
it.
private- Okay,
If you put it
Yeah.
down by Edward Jones, you ain't gonna see it from the
I
street,
like your idea where you can. see
driving
from
by
the
with a
road
car.
right, I want it
and-
somewhere,
and by a parking lot.
you're gonna,
Real nice.
and the parking lot might
And the L and the fish
make it,
over here.
not to say it will be, but I don't want any vandalism.
Right.
The more it's open to seen, the less chance of somebody making,
Yes.
do anything wrong with it. The farther you put it down there, you got the buildings and it
Yeah,
gets a
they'll
little,
catch people's eye when they drive by,
right.
park and look at it.
I got a feeling.
We don't wanna cause any accidents, right?
A lot of people
No,
picture taken by it.
Right.
I think you're gonna have a lot of people down there want to get their picture taken by that thing.
I like it. I think it's neat.
Be another good
Not
use
a
for our
art
parking
guy, but I think that's pretty cool.
It
I mean,
it stood out pretty fast as soon as I seen it. I thought, if we're gonna make a statement, we should really
that's definitely,
get
I
a piece
would
like
start
that.
with that. That's nice.
Tim, you or Pam have anything to say?
Yes, I absolutely love it. I think it's going to bring people into our town just to come and look at it and have their pictures taken. Great idea.
Anything, Tim?
I was just wondering, is this going to be on loan from the artist or is this going to be a permanent?
It'll be permanently owned by the Wolf River Art League.
Anybody else got any other questions?
I'll make a motion for the Wolf River Art League sculpture request and agreement.
So second it.
Ernie second? John?
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we're down to the Sled Hill options.
Well, we have to
Yeah,
vote
vote.
on
I gotta vote on it. That's right.
it.
All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed?
Was there any opposed?
Didn't hear Tim, I heard Pam, but I didn't hear Tim.
Yes, I said aye for the, I'm good
I
for it.
said aye.
All right,
Great. Well,
Motion
thank you
carried.
for coming in, Kelly. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. We're excited.
We'll see where that takes us.
Yeah.
now we'll do the Sled Hill.
All right, so as promised, I put together some options for the Sled Hill. And just to have a conversation about the future of where it will go. I wanted to go through a couple things in this conversation and the things that I thought of that we need to think of when choosing a location. First thing I'll go through is the size, amenities that we have at that property and the location of it. The next thing I'll go over is what a standard site needs, as far as size, amenities and locations, and then considerations, what makes a good location. And then I'll go through those actual locations and then kind of what our timeline is for that. So right now we have a 1.37 acre Sled Hill. It's approximately 300 feet long from top to bottom. It's 100 feet wide on the top and 200 feet wide on the bottom. We currently have a bathroom and warming shelter that we share with the boat launch. that is open year round, decent parking, and then an ice rink. This provides walking access for an elementary school and our intermediate middle school. They do use it in the winter. I'm not sure if it's part of their Phi-Ed program or if it's for just if the kids were good, they get to go sledding. But during the day, oftentimes we do allow them to walk through our gates to get to the sled hill during the day, during the school day. And then also utilities that are, we have available there, obviously the water to fill the ice rink, the power for the lights at night. So a standard hill is pretty much what we have. You would want something about 300 to 400 feet extending out with an average that's 150 feet wide. The hill should have around a 25-degree slope so that users go fast enough to make it fun, but not so much that it's unsafe. According to Chad and his daughters, ours isn't that great. It's a little slow. So we have an opportunity to make it a little faster. The flat space at the top, obviously to congregate, and then enough hill space to have sledders ascend the peak and be out of the descending sledders' way. Some other things that I think are very important and should be for consideration are the warming shelter restroom options, the space for the ice rink, and lighting and utilities, meaning water for the ice rink. So here what I did was I'm completely neutral on all of these locations. What I brought for you is any park that we have that can fit the scope that I just gave you. So I'll start with the obvious and go to the less obvious. Hatton Park, we have two different options really of unprogrammable space that isn't in floodplain. One would be the Kunkel Ball Diamond. No mosquitoes in the winter. That's why we kind of turned it down or tore it up, is because it's not a great ball diamond spot. Directly west of either Allen Field or the stadium, you can kind of flip-flop those. And the pros would be keep it in the same location. Obviously the walkable distance for the schools. My thoughts were to make it a winter destination with the upgrades to the pavilion that I'm hopefully going to get funding for through a grant that we're going to talk about later. And then the existing bathrooms and shelter could be winterized for warming shelter and facilities. We have a big con in Hatton Park and when we went and said that we were going to do the National Historical Society, I think that we all knew, well, there's going to be some, things that they're going to have hoops that we've got to jump through. And here's our first hoop that we're going to have to jump through. I have spoken to them about it. They said at first glance, we're a little nervous about adding such a large hill to a National Registry property. I currently would like to just rebut that. And this is what I will put in the application, is that it's 2,000 feet from the original location. So if you're looking to the north, you would see a sled hill. If you're looking to the south, you'll see Hatton Park. Well, turn around, and then if you're looking to the south, you'll see a sled hill. And if you look to the north, you'll see a wastewater treatment plant. So I don't know how much it's really changing the look of the area because it's only moving it 2,000 feet away. I will be also potentially asking a request to move the old park shop on the property. So that would take 2 applications to be passed through them. They didn't seem concerned about that as much as the hill itself, because of the deteriorating shed. It's in terrible shape. So that's all. So here's the Kunkel Field location. To the north, to the top, There's the Kunkel shelter that we could even winterize if that wanted to be a different location. But it's pretty close to the main shelters too. And then here's those two options next to west of the Ball Diamonds. So the top one is Allen Field and the bottom one is the stadium. The next option would be the property that we were just speaking of, the New London Nature Area. The pros about that, wide open space, the opportunity to start the development of the park. The north side is going to need a park soon. So we're gonna need a shelter, we're gonna need bathrooms, we're gonna need those things for those community members. The cons for that, there's no utility infrastructure for that facility, it's a blank page. This addition I would like to be included in a park master plan, just because that's such a huge space. It's not a walkable distance for school students. That doesn't mean it's not a walkable space for all of the people that live to the east of the property. A significant amount of that park is in wetlands, giving us a very limited space to put a hill or the other amenities. Anything in orange there is okay. Anything in blue is going to be a lot of permitting, which isn't impossible, but you just have to go through the steps. And that brings me to the other location. Same thing here. The entire park of Crosstreet Park is in floodplain, so there would be a lot of engineering, but like I said, I'm giving you every location that it would fit into. The pros with this location, there'd be an opportunity to upgrade an existing park with restrooms and warming shelter that could be used year round. It's walkable to a lot of community members, kind of in the middle of the city of New London. And then just the cons would be the huge FEMA costs and needs for additional structures to be built. All of that is obviously in blue, as you see in the map. Abraham Park has a little bit of space. It would be a smaller hill. We do have facilities there that we could upgrade to a year-round bathroom. There is no space for a warming shelter, but there's space to add on to that building. It's unused park space that we could use, which would be great. It's kind of out of the way though. It's a community park it's more of a neighborhood park than a community park as listed in our corp. And what that means is it's more centrally located for just a few people in the area and not as easy to get up to as the entire community. There's also no parking lot at this park. It's all street parking. Plenty of street parking though, but street parking. And then these are just some other options, just throwing them out there. These properties are not designated parkland and they would need to be rezoned. Industrial Park, this Orville Drive Park property, or not park property, just property. Another, just like the nature area, it's undeveloped space. Future planning could prove much needed north side park space, especially with the residential development up that way. Cons, you're taking away some valuable commercial potential. Currently not a walkable distance for residential areas or schools. And then those utilities that we would need, the electric and the water. Another place behind Floral Hill, just throwing it out there, undeveloped space, lack of utilities, same as before. That's the cemetery off of Beckert. Yeah. It would be a haunted
We
sled
can
hill.
cross that one off. We're not gonna drive through cemetery to get to the sled hill. Take
Well,
Floral Hill off the list.
They talked about doing a pump track and stuff out there, so. I
Lot
don't
less,
know.
traffic than
Yeah.
sled hill.
Yeah, right, nice. So the next steps, Public Works staff met with the engineering team on April 1st to go over the timeline and process of the wastewater treatment upgrades. a decision for their contractors will need to be made around June. So it can be included in the final proposals to the DNR for their permitting. I would like to include some sort of public input, whether we choose, you know, like top 2 and throw them out there on a Facebook poll or something like that, or you guys go and talk to your people that you know and just get some public input on it, I think is really important too, because it maybe wasn't your neighbor's father's father that slid down this hill, but it was maybe his. So I think that it's important for those people to really have an input and say, so.
Out of all of them, I think the Floral Hill one should be crossed off. You don't want people going through the cemetery. all
Sure,
the time.
okay, yeah,
Also gonna possibly put a blacktop plan on.
yeah. Well, not on the city's property.
Close by.
Yeah,
Also, I'm not a big fan of the Abraham Park one.
Okay.
Because the location
yeah,
in the middle of residential, and then it's only street parking, which, yeah, you said there's a lot of street parking. I just feel like it'd be awkward location for a sled hill right in the middle, looking at where it is. I don't really.
sure,
I like the 2 in Hatton Park.
yeah.
Yep.
Which one here?
The Kunkel seemed to make the good sense.
Kunkel Ball Diamond,
This
Yeah,
one?
I agree with that.
you got a lot of space there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of parking, there's that black top there, there, you can park
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
One really too bad, because you have park alongside of the shelters. So if you put it where the old building was, either place is not that bad up there, as far as I'm concerned.
And give it actually a use. I mean, living here, I think
Wintertime.
I don't think I've ever used it.
Mhm.
So,
You're not looking to have a public hearing on this or anything, are we? We're just gonna
No.
be among us to
Just
pick out something?
feedback, yeah.
There's nobody that uses that ball diamond anyway, so we can just put a big
Oh.
hill over the top of it.
We,
There's no way anybody's going down there in June. It's not happening.
Isn't that kind of undesirable mowing area too? It's wet.
yeah.
It's undesirable, everything.
Yeah,
It's
We've
perfect in the
actually-
winter because there's no mosquitoes.
we've actually pulled the bases and started to mow over it, yeah.
No, summertime, a lot of people use the sledding hill for training. They run up and down the hill.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, for track.
So I mean, believe it or not, the sledding hill gets used in the summer too, so that would make sense there to have it
That's,
there.
You're by 3 schools.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I like going over that baseball diamond
So-
right there. That nobody uses.
What can you tell me about the building that would be taken down, that would need the old park shop?
It wouldn't have to if we go to the Kunkel,
Right,
the ball diamond. If we go over to that one, there's no building that has to come down.
On Kunkel?
Yeah,
right.
Okay, that's why I was confused.
yeah, there's nothing there.
No.
Mosquitoes.
Oh,
There's just
that's over
mosquitoes there.
That's it.
Okay,
That's all that's there, mosquitoes.
Claim the land as
Okay.
their own.
that's why I was confused, because I couldn't remember one over there, but I haven't been in that area in a long time. Yeah. Because, you know,
Tear that
mosquitoes.
building down anyway.
That's it.
That building, I think, has been on.
Oh, it would be
tear
that
down
building.
for a
Okay,
while.
that's
Yeah.
not the one. So it would be the, okay, thank you very much.
I mean, that's your best bet. It's just close, it's where it was, close to where it was before. I mean, everything comes, you know,
So warming shelter at the Kunkel building or warming shelter at the pavilion?
Pavilion.
What would that take? How would we winterize the pavilion? Cause they kind of take away from the pavilion part.
Well,
Summertime.
there's an inside part of that building.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the kitchen area that we call it, and then the bathrooms were just remodeled, so those are all, yeah.
I think this one looks the best.
Do we want to, well, we want Ginger obviously to pursue it with the.
Yeah,
historical
that'll be my first step.
thing. See
Mhm.
whether, if those are even an option.
Yeah, hopefully I don't have to come back and say, they said no.
There's a good chance they're gonna say no,
Yeah,
cause it will affect the feel of the park.
right,
Guaranteed.
not there, I don't think. Not there as much as by the stadium.
Is there
You know what I
discount
mean?
for
That's more in the back.
Mm, There might be at a lower portion, like right below this, yeah, there might be
I
a
thought
hole
there was
there.
disc golf.
Yeah, you see the pad right there.
It's a massive amount of dirt too, so. You know, you're gonna have, you'd have to ask one of the engineers, but I would think that that's gotta be about 10,000 dump truck loads full.
It will be over, I think, what did I figure out? Excuse me.
Just
We
A
still got
hundred
the other,
and some, 112 feet high. Something like that.
a lot of dump trucks.
You do the, if you do the trigonomics, which I had to take algebra twice. So I'm not good
And
at
to
it.
do that, they're gonna have to drive through the park.
Right,
To put that hill there. They
that's
can't
true too.
Helicopter drop
Yeah.
it, so. A lot of factors engineering wise there.
Put it there, it's less driving and they can put it by the stadiums.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm not opposed to this spot at all. I'm just saying that.
Guess we'll have to wait for either one of those two till we
See
find
if
out
we
what
get it
they
approved
tell
and
us.
then we'll decide
Sure.
where we wanna put a warming shelter,
Sure.
what way to go. But I mean, if
Yeah.
that's where we wanna go, I think that's.
If you put it
best bet
by
is see if we can
council, are
approve
you
it
gonna have
first.
to put a road in?
I don't think so. We could probably put a walking path in.
I mean, as far as getting dirt in.
you're probably gonna have to make
Oh,
a gravel
dirt in?
road.
That's gonna be an issue. Yeah, no. The access for the dump trucks will be hard.
Especially when it's getting used in the summer.
I guess the first thing is to find out if we can.
Yeah, we
Right.
need to find out. Do
Exactly.
it.
So Mayor, my question for you is the public, participation act of it. Like, how do you feel we should get the publics,
Well,
you know?
that's what I was waiting to ask is, do you want to see if this was a feasible option before we take that step? Because why ask a question that may not be
Right,
asked?
That's what I
relevant.
think. It's a.
So
get it
once,
approved.
once we get the approval of it,
yep,
then let's see what the public wants to say. I understand that they're listening now and it'll start that conversations and stuff, and we could start educating people and informing what the plans are and the thought process and stuff like that. But once we get the official approval, then you can put something together. We can do a presentation out on Facebook or social media, maybe get Katie involved to do an aerial video or,
sure,
you know, a site plan, but
great, okay. That sounds doable.
I'd also, everybody on this committee, ask you to keep it in the back of your mind and it's a little wet right now, but if you get a chance to go out there and look at where we just did that
Right,
swap, that piece of property, the 11.5 acres on the lower part of that, there's already a natural hill there that we talked about, you know, could make nice lawn seats for an amphitheater or something like that. But that's already almost a natural hill. I mean, you're talking more than half required loads of dirt would be
found my pointer.
that
like right here?
logistically and engineering wise, that makes the most sense for a sledding hill out there. Just something to keep in mind.
We
Grew
would
up
have to
out
get the
there.
road put in out there prior to putting it there.
So that's another part of this conversation that's important to bring up, because the timeline here is that when we had the initial conversation about the wastewater treatment plant, I believe it was Mr. Dorsey that said, we're not gonna have a winter without that sled hill.
I did.
And the plan is to, this winter, this coming winter is our last year on the sled hill. The winter after that is our first year on the new sled hill. And I'm not sure how that aligns, you know, with development.
That dirt would have to get moved in the winter time. Sorry, to
Mhm.
get it in that park location
Yeah,
and the amount of trucks, it's gonna have to get when there's frost on the ground. Patient.
For this one or for?
so that's
No,
impossible.
not for Kunkel,
Oh, yeah.
whether it's late winter. That definitely should be on the table because you're not gonna drive a dump truck in that park from now through midsummer. It's not happening.
Yeah, you can't even drive a riding lawnmower right there.
Correct.
Right.
Can't even walk there.
Mhm, hardly.
That's a frost project.
Yep.
I guess before we put the cart before the horse,
Sure.
I'd like to never find out if we are even talking about a viable project.
Got it.
Spot, I guess, to put it at.
All right.
Just for conversation, how much acres do we lose, do we gain if we go right over the top of the park in Abraham, go right over the ball dam?
Oh, the
How
whole
much do we
part.
lose on that one? We were talking about over top of that one. See, it's 0.61,
Yeah,
but we have a whole ball diamond there.
probably 2 or 3 acres. The total of that's, what is it, 6?
The whole park?
Yeah.
I kind of like your thought process too, and looking at that, for me, would be an option B. If.
Yeah, I'm just
the
trying to get
regular-
option B's squared away, cause if they don't allow us to
There's a
do.
tennis court that we can't afford to replace right now.
Well, no, I'm not saying go over the tennis court,
Mhm.
but
Oh, it's only 3. Okay.
so ball diamond is right there. I mean, you would get to your,
It is hilly there. Like you're on top, a hill on top of a hill, I guess.
I don't know, but if people are already losing their sled hill and then their new sled hill is in a significantly worse location and significantly smaller, I don't think the community would be.
it wouldn't have to be smaller if you went over the top of that, ball
Diamond.
diamond right there. That's what I'm trying to get at. If we can't put it in Hatton,
Oh,
what's
right.
our next option?
I get it.
If the National Registry says no, that's 3 of our options are gone.
You
Mhm.
better talk to the residents in that area before we put a sledding hill there.
Oh, you'd have to.
We're
I
not
mean, that's-
putting the sled hill there. We're just looking at options right now.
That's-
That's not what I'm saying.
Who are your older people for that location?
Right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be the next step. You know, the first step is to find out what we can and can't do.
Yep.
We just gotta get the ball rolling early.
Yep. That's why I wanted to do this now and
Maybe by in May's meeting, we'll have an answer to
yeah, we can. Tim and Pam have come.
Tim for sure. I don't know.
Okay.
If it's still up.
Yeah, originally when I thought of a sledding hill, I thought of Abraham just because of the natural landscape of it. It does already have a slope to it. I don't know if that ball diamond gets used a lot. I know Dorsey talked about maybe, taking that out and making it a little bit bigger. If you dug into the south side and propped it up in the middle more, I think maybe it'd be a little cheaper as well. If you move the hill from where it is now to into Hatton Park, I don't know what that's going to cost. You said 100 and some dump truck loads, so that factor too, I'd like to know is what kind of costs we're looking at for this hill. But I definitely like the Abraham option as the second option if the registry falls through and doesn't let us put it in Hatton. But that's just my opinion.
The only thing that I can speak to on the moving of the current hill is that it has to be done regardless, and that dirt is, from what Robert and Ben have told me, is that that's gonna be a part of the process of the wastewater treatment plant project. And they need to know where they're gonna put that dirt, because that dirt is going from one hill to the other. Which I know that hill isn't all dirt. So we may not be getting as much dirt as we think. But that's all gonna be part of that wastewater treatment plant construction project. Is moving the hill. But like I said, it might not be all dirt. So.
The only thing I could see about Abraham being bad is 2 things. During the winters, especially like this last storm, which we don't really get that often, you lose a lot of parking on the streets. And they're not that wide. And the other thing is, kids lose sleds, they let them go, and it's surrounded by roads. All it takes is a toddler to go off on a sled on their own, so we'd have to be very careful about that. No one wants to see a kid wind up in the street with vehicles. And no one wants their vehicles dinged up if they are parked out there. Versus if they're in Hatton. They're gonna hit grass. Food for thought.
That location of the city is not a major cross traffic. It does not get a lot of traffic. Also, would it be possible to maybe add some parking on the south side of Abraham Park? Just so you can get off the street a little bit?
Anything's a possibility. I mean, with that amount of acreage. Yeah,
I think we're in agreement to try for
sure.
Hatton first.
Yep.
And just spitball ideals for the rest of it, but I mean, if we can get Hatton would be ideal. I
Okay,
mean, we know that, but if we can't get a passer, then we do have to have option two.
I think, Tim, we just talked about, I think maybe we should leave the discussion at where we're at. Instead of, we could actually, we were all night talking about stuff. So I think we'll let you talk to the Historical Society and see what they tell us, and we can have a better idea for our May meeting. That maybe we'll have some concrete stuff by then too.
great.
And we'll be
I can
getting
do
something
that.
from the engineers and stuff for the sewer treatment plant too. I
Yeah,
mean, there's so many variables right now, we be hard to say anything.
right. Great.
Should we leave it at that then? Everybody in kind of agreement?
Yep, that was helpful.
Yeah, what do you
Thank
think?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Consider approving resolution for the grant.
This is just another one of those grant applications that I'm filling out with Peyton. This is to renovate the front of the pavilion in Hatton Park, to make it more of a programmable space. I did go through that during our, capital projects. It was, approved through capital projects, the match was. So it's just stating that I can apply for the grant, and that once, if we were to be awarded, we would follow through, in the steps of reimbursement and, managing that project as stated in the grant application.
So we're looking for a motion to,
Yeah.
okay, I'd look for a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the application submittal of the WEDC vibrant grant.
Second. Or you need a motion.
Yeah, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the authorizing the application submittal to WEDC Vibrant Spaces Grant.
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, Ginger,
Okay, thank you.
your updates?
As far as March and April went, it was just a lot of time, filling out grant applications or renewals for Bird City and Tree City, filling out reimbursements for grants that we had gotten, and just getting a lot of special event permits, as you may have seen in my weekly reports, meeting with the sports organizations, and the office staff has been busy with permits and reservations and phone questions about everything under the sun, from garbage to boat launch to now brush cleanup. So we've been very busy in the office. An update, as you read in my memo about the Girls Youth Softball Association. We met with the Lions Club in early March. The Lions are continuing to show support for Memorial Park, but they will be withdrawing their agreement that they have with the city to be the sole providers of the concessions at Memorial Park. We have always given them that opportunity, and they have decided to step down from that role. They are still going to be responsible for filling the gaps and the needs for concessions. So the youth softball organization is filling most of those times slots. But they are still looking, well, when we met, they were still looking for some time there too. But that's just kind of, an update on that portion, but also then the Youth Girls Softball Association has withdrawn their interest in renovating the bathrooms completely. So they've decided to step back from that fundraising effort and go into more of camps and girls spending it on their girls with equipment and things like that. We have started to renovate the current bathrooms with our operating funds. They're looking great so far, so I think that's a good step forward in showing the community that we are still committed to Memorial Park. I did send a memo to the school district, youth softball and youth baseball about the needs that are going to be done very soon at Memorial Park, from the lights needing to be replaced, the infields needing to be replaced, and just showing them also that we have committed to a new playground down there, which I'm looking for a few more funds for that. But I haven't heard from the school district or the softball association responding to that memo. Youth baseball did respond and are just continuing to show support for Pfeiffer Park, which I think is great. They've did a lot of good things over there, and they're going to be also, I don't know about the Abraham sled hill, because they want to put some money into Abraham's baseball diamond now. But youth baseball is continuing to support all of the baseball fields in the community, from Pfeiffer to Abraham to the two fields in Hatton Park. So that is helpful. Other tasks in my world include, you've all heard me speak on the Pearl Street project. I am communicating right now with Lund Cooley in regards to the Riverside Trail easement across his property. He had some questions about the trail being moved closer to his property, so I did answer those questions for him, and some of them were just, I think, confusion on lot lines, and where his lot lied compared to ours. I think that he thought that maybe he had up to the water, and I defined that for him. I also want to thank the New London Utilities. They have donated a huge piece of equipment at the Aquatic and Fitness Center that would have been a capital improvement that I would have had to go through with capital process. And they donated that, a treadmill that they saw the need and said, we'd like to buy that. So they did. So that was really helpful. Also, I was hoping that she would be here tonight, but I want to take a moment to thank Lori Schneider for her service. She was unable to make it tonight, but after the last 7 years, she will be retiring as our senior program manager. We are currently looking to fill that position, so if anybody knows of anybody that would be a compassionate and caring person to give back to their community in the senior citizens world, I'm definitely interested in meeting with them. Lori did a great job. We're so thankful for her and all of her involvement, and she will continue to stay involved at the Shamrock Club level, and the Wolf River Art League level. So, and she spoke about wanting to come back and drive bus for us too. So, I want to thank her for her time with the city. And other than that, I have nothing.
Looks like one of our future agenda items will be sled hill.
Yep, for sure. Yep. And then also, I have been meeting with the DNR about the Pfeiffer Park sturgeon habitat, and they'll have an agreement for us that we'll have to have approved, hopefully by May as well. So that'll be another item.
Else got anything else? Our next meeting date will be Tuesday, May 5th.
Yeah.
Other than that, look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Bernie.
Second.
Second by John. All in favor?